I just hate it when the girl says, wait, wait, wait. I really want her by my side, don't hesitate. I really want her by my side, hold on through. Do all the things I wanna do. Well, come on, baby, don't leave me saying, 'cause you're. I really want her, she says, stop, baby, go, go, go. I really want her by my side, hold on through. Do all the things that we wanna do. Come on, baby, don't leave me saying, 'cause you're the best I had. Making love, making love, making love, all night long. Making love, making love, making love, all night. All night long. Making love, making love, making love, all night long. Making love, making love, making love, all night long. Making love, making love, making love, all Welcome to the Tulsa Music Stream. And now, your hosts, Scott and Jenna Squires. You want the dirt on Tulsa? You got it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tulsa Music Stream. We're so glad you're joining us tonight. It's going to be a fantastic night. We're getting our ducks in a row here. We've had some internet connection issues already, but let me turn that down. I don't know if it's storm related, but we're going to hope for the best, and we're going to hope that things continue to go well and stay connected. Scott's over there scrambling. Hey, Greg Kozak, how are you?
Good.
Gotta love stuff. You just gotta love stuff when it happens.
And if you can, make sure you share our page or our stream. Share it to the Lita Ford groups if you can for me. I didn't get to get it all.
You know what? If you want to go ahead and take care of that, I'll just rap with Greg for a minute and see what's going on.
I was getting ready to share with Lita Ford.
Oh, well, he knows exactly where to go, so we want to make sure it gets shared.
He
in
only
those
he, know,
groups.
he only knows where to go because you tell him so much, right?
That's correct. And I can tell that someone's trying to message me right now. I cannot see your messages. So if you need to get a hold of me, just put it in the chat for me if you would.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Put it in the chat, and I'll watch for your
That's a
message
good
in the
idea.
chat.
Or feel free to message me. I got nothing to do.
Oh, yeah. So
I don't steer the ship.
you do right now, bud.
I'm just along for the ride.
No, you're right. You're in the middle for a reason. So we are so excited to have you guys with us tonight on episode 21. We are waiting for Miss Lita Ford to call in to talk to us. She will be calling in
You
momentarily.
gave her your phone number?
We did.
Wow.
I hope she saves
I
it
know.
too. Wouldn't that be cool if she did?
Just calls you?
I just like, I don't care if it's 2 a.m, you know. Oh, okay. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, she can absolutely call anytime. We do want to say big thanks, big thanks to DEB Concerts and DEB Concerts and Lita's manager George for arranging this interview that's about to go down.
Yeah.
And we can't do this without their help, so we appreciate it. And
I
anyway,
got to sit and hang out with Doug.
yeah, how'd that go for you?
That was pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever got to hang out with him. Very nice guy, very down to earth
He
guy.
is.
You would
He's-
think with all the people that he's dealt with and all the stuff through the years that he might not be, but super guy.
Oh,
man.
he will give you the shirt off his back.
I think that's the
Trust me.
longest. I've been around him before.
Yep.
But that's the first time I've ever been in like a kind of a situation where it's just us hanging out.
He is such a treasure to our city, and I apologize for those notifications. We're actually running on a brand new computer tonight.
Woo!
Which, new computers are awesome and wonderful if your internet connection holds up. And yes, computer nerds, we are connected to Ethernet, not Wi-Fi. So again, hopefully the drop was just maybe storm related. I think the storm's passed.
So when it gets back on, it should switch back over then.
Well, I don't know if it did. I don't know. We're learning as we go. Okay. So anyway, we appreciate.
Should see over there. Or if it's
Can't know it all.
computers know it all.
Anyway, this is gonna be fun.
Are you doing all right? Did you get all your shares done?
I don't know.
Okay.
We should be okay.
Okay. So we've got Lita Ford coming up when she calls in here in just a moment, and then in our second hour we have Mr. Marc Nelson from Let's Zeppelin, a tribute, and his appearance is sponsored by Miss Tracy Wright from Keller Williams. We'll be showing you a nice graphic of Tracy's later on. She got some nice new pictures done by Greg Shipman Photography. So it's just one big happy family. We're all just hooking up and helping each other out. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So we do appreciate you guys sharing the stream. Get the word out about this cool interview.
Yep. Share it to your favorite groups. Share it to your favorite pages.
Yep.
Tag people, invite people, all that good stuff. It all helps.
We had asked Lita to call in between 6:05 and 6:10, and I did specify Central, so we're just going to be patient and wait. Eastern, no. So she'll be calling in soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what's going on? What have you guys been up to the last few days?
Well, been talking to Mr. Mark Mortensen. We're going to be doing a Motley Crue project thing. So, he's sent me 6 songs that he wants me to sing on.
6?
So, yeah. And I guess so that's going to be fun. We're going to do a Motley Crue tribute type thing, recording and all that.
Nice.
What if he sent you 6 because of Nikki?
Right.
And his name's Scotty Six,
right.
too. Right. That's your computer name anyway. I think I get to have some recording time on that as well. He messaged me a little bit ago and he goes, "Hey, you want the solo to Bastard?" I said, "Sure, why not? I'll get back to you."
Sweet.
So I'm going to do that. I think we talked about doing...
What a sweet guy. What a great guy, too.
Yeah. Oh, volume. Yeah, he's a super dude. Everybody who comes to us and says, "Man, why do you guys' recordings sound so great?" I say, it's simple. Marc Mortensen, he has gotten better and better. He did that Heroes and Devils album for us in 2013, and he's grown leaps and bounds since then in his ability, the stuff he's doing. They did all that Kiss stuff, which sounds amazing, and now he's taking on Motley Crue, so we are excited that we're going to be a part of that. If you can't tell, we're ad-libbing.
No. Don't tell the secrets.
Well,
No,
you know what?
it's obvious.
I'll tell you what, if I'm right now, and I don't remember this story extremely well, but it's Lita. I think at one point, you're talking about Let's Zeppelin.
Yes.
At one point, was it Zeppelin that asked her to be a part of the band or something at one point?
Man, I don't know.
John Paul Jones.
Oh,
Maybe that's a question to ask.
Right.
I've never heard that story.
I guess I don't know.
I at one point,
Wow.
I want to say it was I can't remember. I thought it was Zeppelin, and they actually literally, well, they didn't, but
Right.
invited her to be a part of the band.
And I take it she said no.
I take it she said no.
For a reunion
I
type thing.
think, no, I think she thought they were kidding. No, back in the like quite a ways back.
Wow.
I think she thought they were kidding, and they weren't. I don't know. I better not tell
No,
the
no,
story
you're
unless I
fine.
really
No.
know the whole story.
No,
but
you're good.
I also found out something interesting about her that I want to talk to her about, hopefully.
Yeah.
I found this cool picture, and it was on. I'm not a Twitter person, but you can go stalk it all you want. And so I did the other day, and I found the coolest picture. It's her and her mom and her dad, and she posted this, or I don't know if you call it posting on Twitter, but it was
Right.
on her Twitter feed. I do know
Right.
some of the lingo, and it's her and her mom and dad. It's an older picture.
Wow.
When she was younger, and dad is on this side, mom is on this side, and mom is wearing nothing but panties and a runaway shirt.
You're kidding.
Dad is wearing, and it looks like a family photo. Dad is wearing a runaway shirt, but he's looking at her going, and
Is
he's
that
got his
right?
tongue out.
So they were totally cool parents then.
That's what I
sounds
want to
like.
ask her. I mean,
Well,
that had to be right.
I would think, and I've actually watched some recent interviews with her, and it sounds like she talked about a lot about her mom in this particular one that I was checking out. And man, it sounds like, she said her mom would know, like when she would get home and smelling like the bar,
Oh, yeah.
but she said she never gave her grief for it. So I think she just kind of understood, my daughter's young, she's out there sowing her oats and doing her thing. And, I know they were super supportive. I mean, I don't think she would have written the song Lisa
Right.
about her mom had it not been a good, solid relationship.
Right. Did
So
you know her mom's maiden name?
tell me,
Benvenuto. I'm
That was-
Italian.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Now, if you can spell that, I'm really going to be impressed.
Ben. I guess it depends on what country you're in, but Italian, I believe, is Benvenuto or Tio. It's Tio.
No
But-
kidding.
yeah, which means welcome. We're to welcome. I speak
so
a little bit
cool.
of Italian, about that much.
That's so cool.
But I heard that years ago too. I was like, I heard her name and I thought, well, that's a stage name.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom's got a stage name. That is no, I think that was really her maiden name.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I can't. There's so much stuff I want to ask her about. I was thinking back to when I was, she got recruited by the Runaways when she was 16.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm thinking at like my mentality level, my maturity level at 16. And I mean, you're a kid,
Yes.
and to just be pulled into that.
Yes.
Not only just being pulled into a band at that age, but a revolutionary band
Yeah.
that broke down walls.
Yes.
And you're 16 years old.
She was only 10 or 11 when she started learning to play guitar.
Unbelievable.
So in the first 5 years of your learning how to play guitar, all of a sudden you're thrust
yes.
into this world, because there wasn't a lot of lag time with them.
No.
I mean, they kind of got burst into the
yes,
scene,
They did.
So I just think that's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
They were all. I think she was the oldest in the band.
Are
Was
you
she really?
kidding?
I think she was the oldest.
Now that I did not know.
Well, they were all 16 or 15, I think, is what it was. Something like.
That's
I got to
so
be honest with
crazy.
you. I was a huge fan.
You are allowed to be a huge fan. That's okay.
I really, really was.
Well,
Hey, I am, I should say.
well, sure. And I want to ask her about Kim Fowley. Because, you see the movies and there's, movies are movies. And they always kind of,
She didn't get much.
right.
She didn't get much in that movie.
And
at all.
movies are a lot of times they're embellished or sometimes it's even
Well,
distorted.
It was Joan Jett controlled.
I understand.
Unless things have changed, she had not seen the movie.
Oh.
She did not even see the movie.
Well, I know
Unless-
she didn't have much input on it. I know that, and there's there's some stuff we won't get into, but the way Kim Fowley is depicted in the movie, he's pretty much a monster, and I'm just wondering like how much of that is actually, true.
I would tread
So-
lightly
Well,
on that one.
Want to thank.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to thank everyone for joining us in the chat room. We have Tracy Wright. We have Trish McKay Nipper. Elizabeth English Talcott.
Yes.
We have Terry Fleming in the house. Robert, Leanne Hamilton, Stacy Vance. Hello.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Doug, it says she will call. Be patient.
He knows that we're freaking out on the inside.
She's a rock star. She
I
can call when
know.
she wants.
Got Tim in the house, man. The boys are down too. We got to do something.
Okay, keep us posted on that, Timmy.
Yeah, they just missed their 2-point conversion.
Ah, shoot.
Scott Gurley's in the house. Son, here we
Here
go.
we go. Miss Lita Ford.
Tulsa Music Stream. Hello, how are you doing? Uh-oh. What?
Hold on, Lita.
Hang on, we got a dude running things, and things ain't working out so well with volume.
Hi, how are you doing? Tulsa Music Stream.
Thank you so much. You're breaking up just a little bit.
Okay, can you
Okay.
hear us better now, Lita?
Can you hear us okay now?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Well, hopefully it's going to straighten out here in just a second. Tell us if it keeps
Okay.
breaking up, okay? Or is it sounding better?
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
had
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I just had to turn it on the Bluetooth.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, Lita, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
We are so good, and we're so thrilled to have you with us tonight on Tulsa Music Stream. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate your manager, George, working that out with our buddy Doug Burgess from DEB Concerts. We're so glad to have you on. And listen, we're going to start with something fun that's not even music related.
Well, first of all, she just had a birthday.
I
That's
know. I know you
So
did.
we want to say happy birthday to you. You have a lot of your fans in the chat room right now, and they're watching and chatting and everything. Probably be asking a couple of questions, but everyone says happy birthday.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Definitely. We hope you had a good one. Now, I want to ask you, because we're kindred spirits in this regard, you have a big love for animals, and in particular dogs. And I want to know when and where and how you developed your love for dogs, and tell us about your fur babies a little bit.
Oh wow, yeah, I am an animal freak. I mean, I talk to all the animals.
Nice.
I'm like Lita Doolittle or something. It's crazy. My father was like that also, and he could talk to any animal, just the wild animals and any animal that was a pet, family pet. But so my little Chihuahuas that I have. I've had them on the road with me now for 10 years, those
Wow.
dogs.
Wow.
And they have a little travel bag, and they both get in the travel bag. And, we just hang everywhere. They walk across the stage. They go backstage. The promoters buy them snacks and clothes and
Wow.
toys, and it's just like, wow. I mean, they're really the rock dogs.
You should get them like little backstage passes, and you can put them on their collars like little dog tags.
Right.
Well, they've got plenty of passes hanging off their dog bag, their carry bag. I mean, it's the coolest carry bag, and I've smuggled them into so many places too. It's kind of bad, but they're so good. We play a lot of casinos and stuff like that, and the casinos don't allow animals.
Right.
And, I'll just tell them, you guys, we're going to smuggle. So just shut up and, get in your bag, and I throw a hoodie over my bag or something, and then I put the bag over my shoulder, and you'd never know there's two dogs in the bag.
Right.
And they don't bark. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. They've got it down. They've got the routine down.
I love it.
Really funny.
That's so cool.
Now,
Well,
recently, this week, we were watching the show. It's a cooking show that you were on. What's the name of that show?
it's called Chopped.
Chopped. And I guess you were on
Oh,
there.
wow.
You were on there with Twisted Sister and
Foreigner. Guy from
Kelly
Foreigner?
Hansen.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was tough. I mean, I like to cook, and I love my kitchen, and I love to have friends over and stuff. But that was a whole different experience. The cast and the crew were really great, and they treated us really great, and it was a lot of fun. But then, once that timer starts, you've got to know your way around that kitchen and
Right.
throw together the ingredients that they give you, and you got to try and make something out of it.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do my best here, and then that's all you can really do is do your best.
Sure.
And they have they have to rule you out. Like, they have to rule one person out each round because that's just the way the show goes.
Right.
And so even if your recipe is good, they're going to say something about it so they can just rule you out and get on to the next person of the show.
Well,
but it was fun. It was fun. I would do it again.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say I will say this: the two people, I'm just a guest host here. The two people that host this show on a regular basis, Jen and Scott, they've recently got a flat top grill and they've gone crazy with it, and they're posting things on the internet all the time about it. And I thought if I had the opportunity, and we might do this off the air here or something, maybe you could share one of your recipes with them since they're so excited about their new grill.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, right? I don't have a grill recipe.
Well, that's okay.
You know,
For me, share a grill recipe? I don't grill.
Oh.
You know, you just you released your Living Like a Runaway book. Maybe you could come out with like a recipe cookbook.
Living like a cook.
Living like a Lita Ford, living like a cook.
Right. Absolutely.
I could probably do that, yeah. I could probably do that. Although, I don't know, a lot of stuff I make these days is really, I use a lot of vegetables and a lot of greens.
It's good.
And I'm just trying to stay away from the refrigerator as much as possible with this COVID lockdown and everything else. So, you know, I'm just like, do I really want to eat again? Didn't I just eat an hour ago? Okay, Lita, go ride your bike.
That's
you
funny.
know?
Yeah, being a rock star kind of sucks. You gotta keep that figure, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you recently
Yeah, man.
you recently have been in the recording studio and you're working with Bobby Rock from Nelson Vinnie Vincent drummer. How's that going?
It's amazing. It's just really, really a gift from the gods is what I say to them. You guys, the gods are watching over us, you know. It's just been really fantastic. You know, it's taken me a long time to write these tracks.
Right.
We've had a lot of different things happen during the process of writing this album. My songwriting partner died.
Oh.
And I'm just like, dude, you gonna check out on me now?
Oh,
Come on,
man,
you know.
that sucks.
So I finished the last couple of tracks, and then we went into Minneapolis recently, where our studio is. It's actually our booking agent studio, and it's a badass studio, and it's out of the way, and no one even knows it's there. And we go in and we have a great time, and our sound engineer George Marshall is just the best.
Awesome.
And Bobby Rock is just the best, and the songs are great, and everything's great. Gary Hoey is the producer.
Wow.
Right on.
It. And you know, Gary and I, we've been writing and recording over the last few years, and we got some really great guitar parts.
Awesome.
I said to Gary, you know, my guitar heroes were, like the duos were Steve Hunter and Dick Wagner, who played with Alice Cooper. They were on Welcome to My Nightmare.
Wow.
And the records before that. And I loved their guitar playing. The way they played together, there was a magic about it. And I said to Gary, you know, after listening to all the songs that are going on the next record, I said, Gary, do you realize we are the Hunter Wagner of 2020, 2021? It's us.
Yes.
Wow.
And you know, he's like, yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know. We didn't go in there with that intention in mind, but because Gary's one of the greatest guitar players around today, and you know, I play my ass off, and so together, him and I just had a great time duking it out on guitars. And we didn't even think about it, you know. And now that it's all said and done, and we're starting to go through the mixes, like, wow, those guitars are great.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's exciting. Well, we're
you know, it's just all.
Are you gonna have a working title for this project yet?
No working title.
Okay, that'll come later.
No working title. Only the title, which I can't tell you yet. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We'll wait patiently. We're fine.
I was wanting some blockbuster news,
Yeah,
man.
that's okay. That's okay. Hey, Lita.
Yeah.
I'm a guitar player in a couple local bands here, and I know that over the course of all this time, you've probably had thousands of women thank you for the role you played to kind of bust the barriers down and break the walls down so that us females can be taken seriously in the hard rock and heavy metal world. And I just want to add my name to the list and say thank you for what you did for us. And I want you to paint a picture for us, if you would. Take us back when you're 16 years old, and I know you got recruited into the Runaways at a very young age. I want you to paint a picture for us. What were those first few gigs like where you are in this band that's having to break down these walls and win over these primarily male audiences? And if the movie is any bit of truth to it at all, they're throwing stuff at you guys, they're spitting on you. What was that like? Did that scare you, or did that just fuel you that much more?
Well, first of all, that movie is very one-sided.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's all how, it's a Joan Jett movie,
Right.
basically,
Sure.
So I had a different view of everything.
Okay, tell us your
And
view.
how we kind of went through rock and roll college, with Kim Fowley and being with the girls and growing up a teenager in a rock band. It was really hard, but at the same time it was educational. Mm-hmm. And I loved it when people spit on me. I was like, yeah, come on, spit on me, and you get like a big loogie on your fretboard or your guitar neck, and I learned to spit back.
There you go.
You spit back on these people, and so I'm a pretty good spitter.
Yes.
But you could see the spit flying through the air of the club.
Wow.
It was pretty gross when you think back about it.
Right.
But they loved it. It was a term of endearment, so to speak.
Okay, sure.
Pretty sick.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like putting you through the test. I know the Ramones used to put chicken wire up in front of the stage
Right.
because people would throw handfuls of change
Wow.
and beer bottles and stuff. Now it's not allowed, but back then, they would get annihilated with all kinds of shit. And we would get weird stuff thrown up on stage, like condoms full of noodles and stuff.
That's creative.
Wow.
You know?
Weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. Okay, what the hell is that? Kick it back into the audience. I don't know.
Right. So did you enjoy working with Kim Fowley, or what was he pretty challenging to work with?
Kim Fowley was a very eccentric, out of his mind, and I think he treated all of us differently. And I got to say, I was really not afraid of Kim because he never really did anything that was down and dirty to hurt me, me personally. The other girls have different stories,
Yeah.
but Kim had a vision, and he wanted to teach us how to have our own styles. He wanted to teach us how to be rock stars.
Right.
And, how to have charisma on stage and how to be your own person. He used to say to me, Lita, you are not Richie Blackmore. And I would look at him and I would say, I'm not?
Oh man, that's
You
funny.
need to play like Lita,
There you
not like Richie Blackmore.
Sure.
And so, I would say, well, how about this Richie Blackmore riff? And he would say, damn it, play it backwards.
Wow.
So he would teach us how to play these riffs backwards, and, they became a whole different animal.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
we developed our own styles because of Kim. He helped us through all that,
So cool.
Now you've
what to
recently
do, what not to do.
You recently just released a song or Ace Frehley released a song with your lead vocals on his new album this week. And I listened to the track. It was a lot of cool. What was it like working with Ace Frehley?
Ace is a sweetheart. We had a lot of fun doing that track. You know, he's just a nut. A typical musician, you know, there's a difference between your engineers, your producers, and then the artists. And Ace is a true artist, and he's just so cute. So I go into the studio to record with Ace, and it was just like, you know, I'm just in the neighborhood, I'm just hanging out. Ace says, you know, come over and play guitar on my new record. And so, yeah, okay, I'll bring a guitar and my dogs, and we went over there. and I said, well, what do you want to play, Ace? And he says, well, let's play Jumpin' Jack Flash. And I thought, well, wait a minute. You want me to sing, I was born in a crossfire hurricane.
That's so cool.
Ace, it's in the key of B. I said, you want me to sing that vocal? It's not going to be very exciting. So Ace tunes down, I think he tunes down something crazy, like 2 whole steps.
Wow.
A step and a half.
Right.
And then the song turned out, we played it in the key of G, which is 2 whole steps down from where the Rolling Stones play it.
Wow.
And then, so that let me sing it 2 octaves higher.
Okay.
Instead of lower, I sang it higher, and it gave the track a whole different energy.
Yes.
And, you know, and I used the whole Kim Fowley theory, too, when we did Jumpin' Jack Flash, because Ace was saying, oh, we're like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. I said, Ace, we are not Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
That's awesome.
Now, speaking of...
we are Ace and Lita.
There
We
you
need
go.
to play this like Ace and Lita.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
We did, and we had a great time.
Yes.
I watched a video just the other day, and I was doing some research on the Runaways, and I came across a video of Cherie Curry. She's talking about her experience when she first met Kiss. And she said, Gene, you know, it was like 76 or something like that, where Gene kind of pulled her down on his lap, and it was, you know, they were all without their makeup, and that was her first time ever meeting the guys in Kiss. And of course, she said that Ace was hot. Did you guys ever, like back in the day, ever think about doing a tour with Kiss back in the 70s?
You know, that would have been a great idea, but I did do a lot of shows with Kiss. I've done quite a few different things with Kiss.
Yeah.
We've done cons, we've done cruises, we've done shows. I love the guys. I think they're all cool as hell. And yeah, I mean, you know, Gene is a hands-on, hi, you know, aren't you cute? Come here, let me touch you. Let me just touch you, you know, I'm talking about like a stuffed animal or something. Here, sit on my lap. Let me cuddle you. It's like, dude,
That's funny.
come on. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be great to do a tour with Kiss. I don't know if they're touring anymore. Are they? Are they still on the road?
Well, they'll be back in, 2021 or something like that?
Yeah, you know, COVID.
21, yeah.
Yeah, COVID messed everything up for everybody, but I think they're going to attempt to come back in 21. So.
Well, I think now they do a lot of their, it's an evening with Kiss. So I don't think they have any other artists on the bill. But we have done shows with Kiss. I have as Lita Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So I recently...
Bunch of guys.
I recently recalled a picture that I saw of you. It was on Twitter, and it's you and your parents, and I thought this was the coolest picture ever. Your mom is only wearing they're both wearing Runaway shirts, and it's a picture from I don't know when, you'd have to tell me, but it's not recent. And she has only panties on, and your father has his face turned toward you, sticking his tongue out, and that was your Father's Day Twitter.
My mother lived in her bathing suit. When she came home from work, she'd take everything off and put on her bathing suit, and she would go outside. and stay outside until the sun went down. She loved it.
That's so
And she was from Rome, so she had that rich Roman Italian skin, and she loved the sun. And my father was a freaking nut. He, born in Britain, raised in London. He was just out of his mind. He was never serious. I don't think I have one serious picture of him without him doing something funny. And they were big Runaways fans. They were my number one fans.
Yeah.
And would come to all the shows and wear Runaways merchandise. And my dad would bring a 6-pack of Coors beer.
He was holding a Coors in that picture, as a matter of fact.
That's funny.
Yeah, they were the greatest. I had the best parents. I mean, they both passed away now, but they were just the greatest. And I miss them dearly, but I attribute a lot of my confidence in who I am today because of them.
Yeah, I cannot listen to
they
your.
were just-
I can't listen to your song about your mom without getting emotional, because I think I feel the way about my mom that you do about yours. Mine was always real supportive in my musical efforts, and I think that song is Lisa is so beautiful, and it really captures your heart and how you feel about her, and I'm glad you put that out.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
you-
Yeah, she was.
The video was
Oh, Lita, play the Black Sabbath. Play the Black Sabbath.
that's so cool.
And I'm in there playing War Pigs or something, and she loved it.
Right.
And but Lita, play the Black Magic Woman. The Santana song. I mean, she just loved to hear guitar playing.
Wow, so cool. Let's talk.
They were wonderful.
Let's talk a little bit about when you broke out as a solo artist. And I know you signed with Mercury Records for your first 2 albums. How did you get hooked up with Mercury, and did you feel like they gave you the support you needed to push you out there as a solo artist and get you that kind of exposure that you really needed to get out there and say, hey, I'm Lita Ford, I'm on my own now?
I never really got the support from a record label because there was a lot of reasons. One of the main reasons was because I was a female.
Okay.
And because I played guitar and I was a female. And they just thought they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know how to market me.
Wow.
If I was a guy and I was a guitar player, then they would know how to market me. They could handle that. But because I was a sexy female playing guitar, they just had no clue. And so I slipped through the cracks of these record companies a lot.
Okay.
My songs were edgy and full of guitar riffs, and they weren't as commercial as the record labels wanted me to be. Like I wasn't singing about the boy next door
Right.
or anything like that.
Right.
So high school proms or whatever they wanted me to sing about. And they used to tell me, Lita, take off your makeup. You have too much makeup on. Or Lita, put on some pants. You're not wearing any pants. I have on a leather G-string in the Out for Blood album cover.
Right.
And then my guitar was full of blood, but it was fake blood. It just got stuff hanging out of the guitar.
Is that
And,
during,
they didn't like it.
Right.
is that
Walmart's never going to put this in the art department of their store. Target isn't going to stock this in their store because it's blood and you have no pants on.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. I mean,
Oh, well.
I don't want to change. I
Sure.
didn't want to change myself.
Sure.
is that what's put
But
you?
I did get a lot of support when Kiss Me Deadly came out and Close My Eyes Forever. I got a lot of support from the record label, and they had a great team. And this was BMG Records.
That could be a
And
good name.
BMG.
That could be a good name for the Kiss
Sorry?
tour. I said that could be a good name for the Kiss tour, Kiss Me Deadly tour.
Oh, I love that.
That's nice.
That's good.
I think Greg had a
I'll
question
get
for
on
you.
it right way as soon as we hang up.
There you go.
I'm going to get on that.
Did is you're working with them and them not being able to really market you or have the intelligence of how to do it? Is that what put you into a position where you said, listen, I need to start handling everything on my own? Because let's face it, you do so much on your own and have done so much for your own career. Was that what forced you into that, or was that just what you wanted to do all the time, was be in control?
It wasn't about control. It was just about following your heart and being who you are. And, Lita, take off your makeup and put on this, I don't know, pink outfit or wear this fluffy dress or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not that person. That's
Right.
not who I am.
Right.
I'm a guitar player. I'm a guitar player first before anything else. And that's what I loved, and that's what I still love, and that's what I'm best at.
Right.
And I didn't want to ever be somebody that I wasn't. And they were trying to make me out to be somebody I wasn't, because they didn't know what to do with me
Right.
as an artist.
So when you got hooked up with the,
So, I mean, even though...
go ahead.
Sorry?
No, I was going to
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
I ramble about it all day here.
That's okay.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, there's so much to the story.
Right.
It's just crazy because there's so many people that just didn't know what to do. It's like, how can you not know what to do? I don't get it.
Right.
So did Sharon Osbourne, when you got hooked up with Sharon Osbourne's management company, were they supportive of you and your desire to just be who you were and present yourself in the image of yourself that you were comfortable with?
Sharon started off really great, and I loved Sharon very, very much. We had a lot of fun together, and she taught me a lot of things. And then she started having some problems with Ozzy, and Ozzy went off the deep end, and he was really messed up on a lot of drugs, and their marriage was in trouble, and he was doing a lot of terrible things to her, and I think maybe she thought that because Ozzy was screwing around with so many women, I don't know who they were. I never saw any of them, so
Yeah.
I don't know who they were, but Sharon would tell me about it. And then I think in the back of her mind, she thought that maybe I was one of those women
Oh,
that
boy.
he was screwing around with.
Okay.
And so our relationship changed. And it just was weird. It was just, I would never have done that to Sharon.
Sure.
And nor was I interested in Ozzy in that way.
Right.
I always saw him as a talent and a great singer, and he is.
Yeah.
But he had some issues, and they had to work through it, and unfortunately it cost us our relationship.
Oh, that's too bad.
That sucks. I'm going to read a couple messages in the chat room so the fans can get involved here. First of all, a guy who I work with, his name is Shorty Malloy, says, Lita, thank you for getting me through high school. I love you.
Oh, I love that. My pleasure.
And since we were talking about, well, let's see, Elizabeth Talcock says, what's her favorite festive to play?
Festival.
What's your favorite festival?
My favorite festival? Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, I think any festival where there's great fans there.
Well, I know when you first
there.
first started your comeback as in what 10 years ago almost, something like that. You actually, one of the first festivals that you played after you came back was right here in Oklahoma called Rocklahoma.
That's right.
I think it was the first festival you
Yeah,
did.
those are great.
She did it in the rain.
Those are really great.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Huge storm. Oh, that was just the freakiest day. It was. We were in the limousine coming from the hotel, and we were heading to the gig, heading to the festival, and all of a sudden this massive rainstorm came in, and the water was coming through the sunroof in the limo. It was pouring through the sunroof, and we got a phone call from our tour manager who was at the venue already, and he said to us, "Get off the road." He said, "Get off the road now. Just pull in anywhere you can find and get off the road." So we went into this little coffee shop and we parked. It's kind of a funny story, but I had hair dye with me.
Yeah.
It was pink, Manic Panic. I don't know if you ever heard of that stuff.
No.
So we were in the coffee shop long enough that I colored everybody's hair pink
Oh, jeez. That's awesome.
with this Manic Panic. I mean, we came out of there, and by the time we came out of there and went to the venue with our pink hair, the venue was trashed. The stages were blown down.
Man.
One man, I think one man died, and another one suffered a heart attack.
Ugh.
Like, people were being taken away medically, and
Damn.
the ground was mud. It
Yes.
was just, everything was gone.
Yeah.
We played in the rain.
Yeah.
We were there. We
went up and
remember.
played in the rain.
Yep.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
A storm tonight, on my way here, a storm brewed up exactly like you're talking about as I drove here to do this interview.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's here right now, as a matter of fact.
That's weird.
That is so.
That's pretty weird.
Now, Lita, we know that all of your the Tony Iommi's, the Chris Holmes, all that stuff is well documented. And this is a question that I asked Phil Lewis from LA Guns on our last episode about rock documentaries and biopic movies and stuff like that. And I know you said that it's one-sided. The Runaways is more of a Joan Jett movie. What do you think about doing like one of your own, where you have like cameras following you around? Chris Holmes is getting ready to release a documentary, so it's going to be interesting to watch that one. But do you ever think about doing something like that?
You mean in my house?
Yeah, well, not just following you around. Yeah, following you around, documenting, you in the studio, things like that.
No, it's not really me.
Sure.
I mean, when we were just recording last week, we were in the studio, and our booking agent, who owns a studio, I'd said this earlier in the interview, he came into the control room and he put GoPros everywhere.
Right.
Wow.
He put like 6 GoPros in the room, and then he walked out. And I'm sitting behind the control board, trying to listen to drum tracks. And I got up and I turned all the GoPros over, so they were laying face down. And it bothers me. I can't focus.
Well,
So I don't think I would be very good at anything like that.
that's okay. That's not everybody's cup of tea. I totally get that. Now, I do want to ask you, since I'm a guitar girl and you're a guitar girl, what drew you to the BC Rich brand of guitars over other brands?
A lot of things. Back in the early 80s, when I first started playing BC Rich, they had the best builders out of just about anybody on the planet. I mean, Bernie Rico Sr., and Neil Mosier and their whole crew that they had were just badass.
Mm-hmm.
They had the best, inlays and fret jobs and tremolo units and preamps and the guitars, and the wood they used for those guitars
Right.
are heavy and just indestructible.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with them, and another reason was because they were different. It wasn't a Strat,
Sure.
and it wasn't a Les Paul. And I love Strats and love Les Pauls.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be original.
Sure.
I wanted to be someone who was different. And I just fell in love with the Mockingbird and the Rich Bitch and the Warlock. Like, cool.
So how many of
Working.
those double necks do you own? Because that thing's got to weigh. That thing's got to be so heavy, right?
Well, there's only one of those in the world.
Oh.
That double neck is a prototype. There isn't another one like it.
Okay.
What they did for me when I got that double neck was I wanted a double neck, but the BC Rich double necks are very, very big guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had have taken one of their standard double necks, I wouldn't even have to wear clothes because that thing is like wearing a dress. It covers you from the shoulders down to the thighs, you know?
Right.
It's so big.
Yeah, those are...
So they made me the white double neck, and they cut away the wood more, so it's a smaller scale.
Okay.
The frets and the necks are still the average scale. Like, they didn't cut down the length of the necks, only the size of the body.
Okay.
So it's not as big of a body shape. And then they put the top neck is a 12-string, which a lot of people think it's just a 6-string, but it's not. So I have 6 strings going to the right and 6 strings going to the left.
Wow.
And it's a 6-string guitar. And then the bottom neck, 12-string guitar on top, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
12 on top, 6 on the bottom. And the bottom neck has a preamp in it. So when you want to play a lead,
yeah,
or if you want to play some big power chords, switch down to the 6th string and
wow,
click on the preamp, and it sounds like death.
That's so cool. So cool.
It's badass, and that guitar weighs 15 pounds.
I believe it.
Now you've collaborated.
Yeah.
You collaborated with many other rock stars. You know, you've written songs with Nikki Sixx. You've done things with Tony. You've done things with just everyone under the sun. But there was one particular guy that I wanted to talk to you about was Punky Peru from Witch. So that was a band that I got into a long time ago, but no one around here in Tulsa knew much about them. But I read that where you guys wrote a song together.
Yeah.
You didn't expect this question, did you?
No. We had a couple of fun evenings together, and get drunk and make music.
Right.
And we did.
So we did have a question in the chat room from someone that wanted to know a little bit more about your collaboration with Nikki Sixx. That was from Sonia Peck. What was that like, writing that song with Nikki?
Well, Nikki and I, we went through a lot together, in the early days of rock and roll and living on Sunset Strip and, all the crap that went on back in the early days. I'm sure you've seen The Dirt.
Yes.
The movie The Dirt. And, and so, when we broke up as boyfriend and girlfriend, we stayed friends. And, I cared a lot about him, and he was writing a lot of music at the time. Mm-hmm. And then he came into the studio one day. We were over at Record One in North Hollywood. Great studio. Mm. And we went off into there's a little piano room off to the side. And we started writing Falling In and Out of Love. Hmm. So that song was written basically about a relationship that we had.
Right.
Not that we were in at the time, because at that time we were just friends when we wrote it. Hmm. So it just, I love it. It's fun to play live too.
Yeah.
But Nicky's great. He's just wonderful. He's my brother.
You've had, we've all talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. You've been asked about it 1,000 times. All these people that you've met, who was the one that you, like, for example, you might have to go up on stage and play with, or someone that you met that you were super intimidated by, that might have been that starstruck moment for you through your career? Who is that? Who's that person that took you by surprise or freaked you out?
Starstruck? Let me see. It's a little weird, and I probably should be starstruck. And I think back, too, about all the people I've met and stuff. And it's like, why didn't you get anybody's autographs, Lita? I don't have any autographs at all.
Me either.
You are too?
Yeah, I'm the same. And I've been in radio for 20 years, and I've never asked for an autograph, and I regret it to this day. I should have been asking for autographs. You're right.
It's just, I guess, it's just not what we do, you know.
No.
And then there's people that have to have everything signed and that collect autographs. I don't think I was never one of those.
Sure.
But and there's been a few people. Like one time, Bon Jovi was playing, and we were opening the show. It was at Wembley in London, and it was the last day of the show, and we've done 3 shows at Wembley, and Brian May came to the show. Elton John was at the show.
Wow.
Rick Allen was at the show, and I forgot who else. Just a bunch of musicians. So John Bon Jovi asks everybody to get up on stage and do like the finale show together. And he says, Lita, come on, you got to get up on stage and play. So I get up on stage, and I said, what do you want to play? And he says, let's play Come Together. I think it was Come Together. It was a Beatles song. It was one of those Beatles songs, you know. And I'm like, well, is it in B or is it in C? I don't really remember. So I get on stage, and I'm standing next to Brian May.
Wow.
At Wembley Arena, right, with Elton John and Rick Allen and all these people, and I'm just going like, shit, is the song in B or is it in C?
That's so funny.
Somebody give me a clue here. So the song starts, and everybody starts it in the key of C, and I started in the key of B.
Oh, damn.
And I look over at Brian May, and he looks at me as if, and he didn't have to say this, but he basically said it with his eyes. You dumb bitch! You know? And I was, oh no! I mean, I just went wop 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 wop, you know. And I quickly transposed the key, you know, over to the proper key instantly. I mean, I think Brian May is probably the only one that heard me hit a clunker
Right.
at the beginning of the song.
It happens.
But it was just like, I will never live that moment down, you know. And to this day, I don't even think I could ever look at Brian May in the face again.
Oh, geez, that's so funny. That's so funny.
We're going to ask a couple more questions out of the chat room. One from Teresa Starling says, what was it like to do a show with Kid Rock?
Well, Kid Rock, you know, of course, does a really big show, and he likes to control the whole environment that he's performing in the shows and stuff. He's got so much junk on stage. But
Sweet.
I don't know. He's all about Kid Rock.
Sure.
He's all about what he's doing in his show, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
So
You know, it's just, I just wanted to get on stage and get off stage. It was just one of those.
Right.
Understandable. Carrie Lee Sappington says, I saw Lita with Yngwie. I got her cassette, learned every word, shredded my Levi's, and attended one of my favorite shows ever. Thanks for rocking, Lita.
Aw, that's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
And another one,
love that.
Another one says, I love the song she did for her son. And have you ever played the Cain's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
The what ballroom?
The Cain's Ballroom. It's kind of a famous venue we have here in Tulsa.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
You know, I played so many damn ballrooms. Half of them I don't remember the name.
I
sorry.
understand. No,
No problem.
Probably have, yeah.
That's
You
funny.
did the shredded jeans thing. You were it. Let's face it.
That's right.
You and maybe I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
shredded jeans.
That's you.
You guys want to hear a cool story about
Yes,
shredded jeans?
yes.
Of course.
So, my very first pair of shredded jeans, I was at Lemmy's house in California. I was coming out. Okay, so 3 days later, I come out of Lemmy's house, and I'm out of my mind. And my girlfriend, I called my girlfriend and I said, Patty, you got to take me home. I can't drive. I don't even know where I am. So she comes and picks me up, and we're driving down one of the back streets in Hollywood, and there was a really cute construction worker guy climbing the telephone poles. I guess he was working on the telephone poles. And I said, Patty, pull over. I have to have that guy's pants.
That's so cool.
So Patty pulls over, and she knows I'm nuts. And so I said, excuse me, sir, can I please buy your pants from you? And so this guy, working on the telephone pole, his pants are shredded from the top of his hips all the way down to his ankles. These jeans are naturally shredded.
Wow.
And he was a young guy, slender guy, and I think his jeans were about my size.
Right.
Maybe a little big. So I said, I have to have those jeans. I said, here's $100. And so he goes, oh, wow, $100. He said, I got another pair of them in the truck. Let me go get them.
Funny.
So he goes out to his truck. He slips on a pair of cut-off shorts, and he gives me his pants.
So cool.
And I come away from there with 2 pairs of these naturally shredded pants. So I took them home, and I called up one of my clothes designers, and I took them over to her house, and she tricked them out for me. Like, she put padding underneath the holes with velvet.
Wow.
And different rhinestones and beads and stuff that hang down. Next thing I know, I had these badass shredded up pants from the guy that climbed the construction pole.
Wow. That's so funny. That's so cool.
I wanted to get in real quick. We're going to let you go here real quick, but I wanted you to give us a one cool memory that you had with your former drummer, Randy Castillo. Because he was a badass.
Oh, God. Yeah, Randy was the greatest. He was the cutest. I mean, he was just such a wonderful drummer and such a wonderful person. And he was like Scooby-Doo, Randy. You'd go. We used to call him Randy Carsterio because just a term of endearment. But you'd go, hey, Randy! And he would go, huh? It was just like Scooby.
Right.
That's great.
He was cute.
Aw, that's so
But
cool.
always a good laugh, always a good time with Randy. We miss him very much.
Well, Lita, you've been so gracious to give us your time tonight, and we just want to give you an opportunity if you've got any final thoughts or words for your adoring fans that are watching you tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I have a great album waiting to come out for the fans.
Awesome.
It's an absolute masterpiece. It's taken me a long time to put the record together. Unfortunately, my songwriting partner died in the process, and just between touring and trying to get everyone on the same page at the same time has been a production.
Right.
But we've done it, and the finished product is off the hook.
Awesome.
It's so good, and I can't wait to get it out. I don't know when we're going to be able to get it out because we still have to mix and master.
Okay.
And we need a release date,
Okay.
which isn't going to be 2020, unfortunately, because of the COVID and the elections and everything else that's going on this
Right.
year. It's just insanity.
Sure.
So we're going to hold on to it until 2021,
Okay.
but good things are worth waiting for.
Absolutely.
So it's coming, and it's badass.
We can't wait. We can't wait.
We have a guy in the chat room, Robert O'Malley, and he says he wanted to say hello.
Yep.
Hi.
Sherry Miller McPherson says,
Thank you.
love you, Lita. You have a lot of people in the chat room. I hope you go back and read some of the questions and stuff in the chat room. But it was a pleasure being able to
Yes.
talk to you.
Yes.
Me and Janice opened up for you a couple times at the IDL Ballroom here in Tulsa, and we're looking forward to you coming back to Tulsa. Everyone in Tulsa loves you.
Yes.
Tulsa Music Stream loves you, and it was an honor having you
Thank you, Lita.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for all the love and support, you guys.
You bet.
Now go make that cookbook.
Okay.
We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, talk to you soon. God bless.
You
Take
too.
care.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
That was awesome.
Did she say, "Oh my"?
I don't know.
She was getting ready to.
I don't know. I don't know, but it looked. I'm hoping everybody saw everything okay. We had a drop. I think the internet dropped for like 3 seconds and then it reconnected.
Yeah, but
So-
I think we're going to be okay. though.
Honestly, let me tell you something about these two. Have you
Okay.
noticed when you put the streams up afterwards,
Yes.
the drop is not there?
I have noticed that, and we're going to bank on that. So if you missed any,
Yeah.
it just happened real briefly there towards
Yeah.
the end. If you missed it, go back and watch the replay because that was just fantastic.
Yeah.
What a cool lady.
Yeah, always go check the replay because it's never
Absolutely.
a problem on there, just in case.
Yeah, Elizabeth said it popped back on, so that is good news. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, and we apologize if we didn't get to some of your questions
Oh,
and some of your remarks in the chat room, but she was just kind of going off a little
Yeah.
bit and just doing her own
I
thing.
wanted to know about her mom and her panties.
Well,
That
that's
was more important.
stuff. That is important stuff. But we really appreciate. We just want to again say thank you to Doug Burgess and DEB Concerts and Lita's manager George for arranging that interview. We had such a good time doing that. We appreciate the
I
opportunity.
hope she enjoyed it. That last remark there before the phone, I hope she wasn't upset about anything, you know.
What, the cookbook?
No.
comment?
Was that you that did that?
No,
Oh.
no, that was her.
I think you're paranoid.
Yeah, you
I
are.
don't think that was a negative thing at all.
All right.
Maybe she just was expressing glee about how wonderful it went.
You
I
might
don't
not have
know.
even heard exactly what she said. I think you're just paranoid.
She's probably
man.
calling her dog.
You never know.
It's all
I
good.
think she went all right.
Curious minds want to know. I'm a little bit like Curious George. you know?
Listen. We're getting good feed. Trish said, "Awesome interview, guys." Okay, so
See,
that's
if
all.
Trish said it's
Teresa
okay.
Gaddy.
That's all I need.
Teresa Gaddy says, "Nice work."
See?
Awesome.
Michael Ball says, "Fantastic
Okay.
interview,
See?
guys."
See?
Thank you, Lita and Scotty and Jana. Don't forget about Greg Kozak.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you again for
problem.
helping us
Glad to
again.
be here.
And we've got Mark Nelson
Yeah.
in the wings. He's ready to step up to the plate. I hope you will continue doing this because
I will.
your content is always spot on and
Thank you.
and your voice is so much better than ours.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you helping us with that. So.
Good. And you know, I'm going to step out because I know Mark has to come in and sit in this famous
It's
chair.
true. It's true.
But now listen, since you guys are going to be up here, that gives me an hour running your house. Woo!
Oh my gosh, do me a favor.
I'm going to get naked.
Do me a favor. Put the clothes in the washer and the dryer, feed the cats, and then lock your door on the
And
door
hey,
on the
if
way
it's
out.
storming too bad for you to drive, hey, you can go in the green room and watch the stream in
You
there.
certainly can. You can do whatever you want. All right, me,
It was
Casa,
great
she
having
does
you.
it.
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate you. Thank you.
She was kind of going off a little bit. It's kind of hard
It's
to get in there
okay.
on her a little bit,
It-
but
it's okay.
We asked the right questions. You know.
Sometimes you just let people go, right?
Right.
Like kind of like you guys let me go.
And phone is a different world because she's getting a little bit of a delay
It's
from
true.
that, and so sometimes it's just a different kind of
It
dichotomy.
is. It is. Okay, so we're going to play, and we got permission. Facebook, listen to me. We got permission to do this. We're going to play Lita's video.
Which was the song we talked about that she wrote with Nikki Sixx
Yes.
from Motley Crue, the bass player with the guy that had the stripes under his
That
eyes.
guy? Okay, I wasn't sure who you were
He had
talking
the
about.
he had the stack hairdo. He-
That dude. Okay. So we're going to play that video, Falling In and Out of Love. Please stick around. We've got Marc Nelson from Let's Zeppelin, a tribute coming up. His appearance is courtesy of Tracy Wright.
and
Keller
also
Williams.
at the end, we're going to be playing a song, a country song. It's
Oh, yes.
and the manager for this group is the owner of Metal Sludge.
We're going to get more into that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metal Sludge's CEO sent us this information. We're going to tell you all about it at the end of the show. So stick around. That Phil Lewis interview led us to some pretty cool things. So, anywho, thank you, Lita Ford. Thank you, DEB Concerts. Thank you, George, Lita's manager. I hope I said that right. Thank you, guys, for making that possible. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Marc Nelson. Here's some Lita Ford on Tulsa Music Stream on that. Marc Nelson, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
We're
Jen.
so glad to have you here. Before we get going in your interview, I want to make sure people know that you are here because of this sweet lady right here, Tracy Wright from Keller Williams. She is sponsoring your appearance with us tonight. And this real estate market right now is so absolutely hot. It's just rolling. So if you need to buy or sell a house, this is your contact right here, Tracy Wright with Keller Williams. You can contact her at realtor918.com, and she will hook you up with any buying or selling needs you have for real estate. So we are
our sponsors, D&B, and everybody.
Yep, we're gonna mention those guys after Marc's interview. So we're gonna go. We believe people are watching; they just can't comment, and we're apologize for that. I mean, that's what we get from we try to play a video. I thought we'd be in the clear because we got permission from her and the manager, but Facebook says otherwise. So we're going to keep rolling. If you've got questions for Marc, you know what?
Send us a text message.
You know what? Actually, if you've got questions for Marc, check this out. They can call us right there. You can call in 918-512-1709. Let's get into your story, Marc.
Okay.
So I think what you guys do is so cool with the Let's Zeppelin tribute, but I want to go back in time. You were born just a few years before I was, and you started playing drums at age 6, which is very early to start. So tell me what interested you about drums? What got you into the drums?
Well, strangely enough, it was my parents.
Your
And
parents?
It's interesting because Lita was talking about, her parents and her relationship with her parents.
Right.
And I always had I have 3 siblings, and ours was always a very musical household.
Okay.
There was always music playing.
Cool.
On the living room stereo. And my parents loved anything that would make you want to get up and move.
Okay.
Anything like that.
Sure.
So I grew up listening to anything my parents played. It could be the Isley Brothers. It could have been, Simon and Garfunkel. It could have been anybody like that. James Brown. I mean, it could have been. And my parents loved especially the old Motown and Stax hits that were danceable. And but also country too. My dad liked country. We don't know for sure if we're distantly related somehow to Willie Nelson, and we might be. We would never know.
Wow.
I do know that my dad's grandfather had probably 7 or 8 siblings who went out west and down in Texas and everywhere. So I have no idea. I mean, I've done the ancestry and all that stuff, so I don't know. Nelson's a common surname.
Doesn't it make such a huge difference? I mean, when you're a musician and that interests you, when the people in your family surrounding you also share that love and passion, it's like a garden, and it's just having water poured on, and it's cultivating that love, and it just helps.
That is absolutely true. My older sister became a vocalist, an operatic vocalist who also sings rock, and she lives in Georgia. And my brother played guitar, and my younger sister initially played saxophone and then went to percussion and drums. And but I always gravitated toward the drums, although at a very early age I loved the bass guitar too. Again, a lot of it was music we were listening to, and it was my older siblings that got me into, say, Elton John, but especially Led Zeppelin.
Really?
And Led Zeppelin hit me early. I was a fan of, I didn't pronounce his name right. I thought his name was John Bonham, right?
Right.
And
We all did at one age. It's okay.
yeah, and I remember, 2 days ago was the 40th anniversary of his untimely passing, and I remember where I was. My mom was driving me and my younger sister to school at the time, and they announced it on KMOD.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. I cried. I mean, I was
man.
really devastated. But, starting to play the drums, learning to, pots and pans.
Right.
Sure.
And a lot of people start that way. My parents, they liked it, and they liked my enthusiasm for it. And they were always very supportive. So I got my first toy drum set. It was like this, it was this like Muppet Show, like toy drum set. And I played the hell out of that thing.
Wow, that's so cool.
And it would break, and I'd repair it with duct tape or whatever.
Right.
And so my mom and dad decided they were going to get me a real drum set, this black CB700 5-piece, and I would put the headphones on and play. That's just what I did.
Right.
And it was good because I had a good metronome. I was playing along with the music.
Sure.
And it wasn't just Zeppelin, although Zeppelin was primarily. I mean, John Bonham had a sound that was amazing.
Right. So someone just said, get up a little bit closer to the
Oh,
mic.
sorry.
No, you're good. We thought we turned you up enough, but
Sorry about that.
Everybody's keeping us in line. Well, that's good because that tells me that we definitely are live. So,
Sure.
So that's good. You are being watched, even though
I know.
it says one viewer is in.
The Facebook police shut us down.
They did. So,
Even though we had permission.
I know.
I don't get that.
Well, lesson learned. It's okay.
No, they weren't listening to the interview.
I know. So your first drum lessons came in 1984. Now, did you go to a did you just find a random teacher, or was there a particular guy you were drawn to learn from?
Well, actually, kind of both. My parents knew a lot of the local musicians in Tulsa very well, in fact. Guys like Jamie Oldacre, who had passed this past summer.
That's right.
Rest in peace. I knew him. I was a little kid, but my parents knew him better.
Right.
And a drummer named Damon Daniel, still local, was the first one, and he would actually come to our house to give me lessons.
Wow.
And he taught me a great deal about how to actually apply what I was hearing, and how to listen, and how to groove. How to groove like Bonham. I was also heavily into early Van Halen, because Alex Van Halen was
A beast.
up there. Yeah, he was up there with Bonham. Nobody touches Bonham.
No.
But even like with Neil Peart, who was also a huge influence. They're apples and oranges, but they are the finest apples and oranges
Absolutely.
in history.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so I ended up studying with a different drum teacher at some point by the name of Ken Leverett. And then I got into school band and learned how to read music. My dad had played trumpet at Centerville High School in the marching band. And I ultimately, at Edison, I joined the marching band and the stage band, and was encouraged to take percussion lessons with a guy by the name of Roy Smith, who taught at Broken Arrow, and at TU and at ORU, he taught percussion, and to go out for All-State. And actually, this kind of comes to bear because one of my fiercest competitors at All-State was a guy who beat me 2 years in a row. I could never beat him.
Really?
Well, he's currently our bass player in Led Zeppelin.
Is that
And
right?
Yeah. Neil Derrickson is his name.
And I'll bet he never gives you crap for that ever, does he?
No. Neil and I are good friends. We go back 33 years now.
Wow.
I mean, we went to TU together, and to have Neil with us. As a matter of fact, right now, I can't even begin to give the credit enough to the other guys in Led Zeppelin. Scott Wright, since the beginning, well, he took a 2-year hiatus when Paul Roper of RPM fame played with us for a couple years, about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And then, but we've got Tom Hanford with us now.
Yeah.
And he does offstage auxiliary guitar. We've got Pete Deladernier playing keyboards with us now. And our original vocalist, Tim Moore, was with us for 12 years.
So he's not with you no more.
No. Tim moved on 4 years ago. We're still friends.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Man, I thought I would be on top of everything.
We have a new vocalist. He's been with us 4 years. His name's Robert Stewart. Robert Stewart plays Robert Plant.
Sure.
And he does a fine job.
Oh, he just changed the last name, then he had the
Yeah.
first name already.
He
Robert
was
plays Robert.
cut out for that role.
Yeah, and he's good. He does a fine job.
Now, being in a tribute band, you have to mimic things. You have to get this down right. You have to hit the same type of guitars. You got to wear the same costumes, the whole 9 yards. Is that a bit of a challenge than your standard cover band or even an original band?
It can be, yes. It can be. Well, the way I see tribute acts, there are different types. They're, one might say, a cover band. Even Led Zeppelin covered other people's music, and I'm not going to get into the whole, Spirit and Taurus thing. I think that's an entirely different thing, can of worms. But, a lot of people have played other people's music. So, to me, there's an art and performance.
Yeah.
And for about 8 years, I did concert bookings, but not just musicians, but also like comedians and various types of entertainers.
Wow.
And impressionists like the classic Richard Little. He can sound like anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the advent of the tribute band, the look-alike, sound-alike, really kind of started with Beatlemania.
Sure.
Because people were amazed. They looked like the Beatles. They sounded exactly like the Beatles. They were so pristine.
Right.
And I had booked tribute bands, from 2000. Well, I booked all sorts of shows, really, and traveled a lot in those days. I was single in those days. And So I had booked this Beatles tribute band called Twist and Shout to come into Tulsa and play this senior PGA thing,
Yeah.
right? And I made friends with the guy who plays George Harrison, right? And turns out he's played George Harrison with all the major Beatles tributes in the country. And this is kind of what led to Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah.
He also happens to be the same guy who's like the premier David Bowie impersonator. So this guy who plays Bowie also plays Harrison. So I thought, well,
Really?
so on one fateful night in 2004, I went out to a jam night at it was called Twisters then, but it's the Cimarron now.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I saw my friend Jay Brown. Everybody knows Jay Brown.
Sure.
And I heard this guy, he's playing drums, he's singing, he sounded like Robert Plant. And I said, wow, that guy sounds like Robert Plant. And he said, oh yeah, they tried to put together a Zeppelin tribute, last year, which was 2003.
So we were just talking with Marc from Led Zeppelin, and we're just discussing the differences between tribute bands and then covers and things like that. And then my question was, how much of a challenge is it that you have to learn their personalities. You have to learn the way they stand, the way they turn their heads. They may do something with their mouth or something, or it's got to be challenging. There's probably lots of video, time that you have to study. It's like, okay, I got to be like this guy, and he does this a lot. So I got to learn how to do that. And you basically have to learn kind of some habits.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. The mannerisms. As a matter of fact, this is kind of funny. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago, because I watched this stream, wouldn't it be cool, can he talk like John Bonham? And I found a video. John was only interviewed 3 times that I know of.
Uh-huh.
And I can't really do an English accent, so I'm going to really embarrass myself here. But there was an interview where they had just won the Melody Maker Awards or whatever, and they had Robert Plant and John Bonham on. And the interviewer tried to trip the guy up. He tried to trip them both up. And he said, well, the Beatles have been around for 8 years. Will you guys be inventive enough to last 8 years? And the other thing is about being able to whistle and hum the tunes. I don't think I can hum any of your stuff. And John said, and I'm going to try to imitate his voice here, because what he said was, well, that's just it. It's changing, though. It's changing. And the awards have changed because the kids have changed, for a start. And so is the music changing. And there's already a single out of Whole Lot of Love, with an orchestra playing, which is quite interesting, where the flute does what the lead vocal would do. And the guy says, well, so then, what you're saying is your fans don't need to be able to hum the tune. You're much more sophisticated than my generation. No, not in that sense. No, it's these days. Say, the public, and we say the kids, because there's all sorts of people at concerts. It's these days. It's not what you are, it's what you're playing. Now, John had a rather nasal voice.
Pretty good, man.
Thank you. I just started
great.
working
Can
on
you
it.
just keep doing the interview like that? That
well,
was kind
I
of cool.
suppose I probably could.
No, you don't. It's okay. That was great, though.
But John's mannerisms and his playing, the little nuances, but also with the look. When we first started Led Zeppelin, I was a rail. I mean, I didn't have an ounce of fat on me at all. I was skin and bones, and they were like, yeah, you play good, but man, you got to pork up a little bit. Bonzo got heavy, you got to eat a sandwich, And then that was when I was 33. No, yeah, and 32, which is how old John lived to be, interestingly enough.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, kind of.
Damn.
Anyway, but
so far I've surpassed him.
We made it.
I definitely put on some weight for the role. I'd like to say I put it on for the role. No, I turned 40.
Right. You know how actors, they gotta, have a certain physique for their role. So
Right.
Definitely.
So the mannerisms. It's interesting too, because I'm half British and Irish by heritage.
Are you really?
Right? Yeah, Nelson. Anything with son at the end is Celtic in origin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird, but fascinating. And so I actually know a guy over in the UK. I know a few people in the UK, and one of them was a drummer in Birmingham who knew John personally. And said that, the fleur-de-lis steak and kidney pies were like a personal favorite of John's. So what do? I go to the White Lion and order like a steak and kidney pie because I want to, experience kind of what he experienced.
Oh, sure.
And now when it comes to the art of the impersonation, I don't play as well as John. Nobody ever will, and no matter how hard I try. But that's what I love about it.
Well, sure.
Now,
trying.
is Led Zeppelin, is it like your favorite band, or is
Oh,
it,
yeah.
or is it someone else's idea that created, like, wanted to start this?
Actually, it was the idea of Scott Wright, Tim Moore, and our original bass player Brian Henderson, who was with us for 14 years.
And now Scott's done some other tributes as well, like the Alice Cooper thing with.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, with Triple J,
Yeah,
rest
yeah.
in peace,
Right.
great
No
man.
doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they had tried. I had heard, and that was that night at the Cimarron. Jay Brown said, no, they tried to put together something last year, but they could never find the right drummer. And I'm like, ding, I thought, well, hey, I've been playing this music all, since I was a little kid, or trying to anyway.
Right.
And I thought, oh, this will be really easy. Well, actually, I learned a lot.
Yeah, sure.
I learned a lot, and I've developed it. It was interesting, though, when I first met Tim, I said, hey, I understand you're trying to put a Zeppelin together, a Zeppelin tribute. And he said, no, we already have a bass player. We don't need a bass player. And I said, well, I'm a drummer, too. And he goes, no, you're not. You're a bass player. And I said, no, I'm a drummer, too. Actually, I'm a drummer first. I play bass as my second instrument.
Huh.
And it dawned on me that a lot of people thought of me as a bass player and not as a drummer.
Wow, that's
Because
cool.
I played bass,
Right.
I picked up bass at TU as a second instrument, and played in a lot of cover bands, dance bands, party bands, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you
and
did.
loved playing bass, but drums are my first love.
Cool.
But I love them both, and I'm convinced that playing one helps me with the other.
And it's probably helpful to know both instruments, since you were the rhythm section, that you can probably relate a little more with the bass player, because you guys got to going to be in the pocket. It's all this
Right.
stuff.
Look
Come
at
here,
this.
buddy.
This is just kind of how the night's going.
got a Kit
right
Kat.
here. I mean, that's.
Oh, he's
and I
a beauty.
even said before, I said, should we lock the cats up? I think we'll be all right tonight. But I think that right there is part of the appeal of the show, is that it's so
Look at that.
freaking like mom and pop, down to earth stuff. Anyway, thanks for being patient with
Oh,
us.
no problem.
I like seeing the people back in the chat room interacting with us. So
Yeah,
it's-
we got half of them all back
I know.
now.
As much as it sucks that we had to restart the stream and do a completely different one, I'm glad to have people back in, because it's always more fun to have you guys interact with us. Now, we had Todd from DMS in here several weeks back, and he made an interesting comment about the difference between a tribute band and a cover band. And
Right.
And I want your take on that. But the thing he said that made me laugh was basically like, about $1,500. I mean, I guess there's a perception, maybe from the casinos or just anyone that books a tribute band, that you're getting a higher quality product than just a standard cover band. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. As a matter of fact, even in the vernacular that I've used for being an agent, learning kind of the ropes of how deals are made, is that a band is a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
but an act sells. So I would always say, we're a tribute act.
Right. Yeah.
Acts sell, shows sell.
Sure.
Bands could have just stepped out of the garage.
This is true.
And so, and another interesting thing is I've always managed the group, so I've always done all the business, and that actually goes back to when I first auditioned with them. We played about 14 or 15 Zeppelin tunes just like that,
Wow.
and they were like, "Okay, yeah, let's do this." And I said, "Do you guys know what a booking agent does, right?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Give me 1 year. Give me 1 year. I'll have this band in front of at least 3,000 people, making at least $3,000.
Oh my
At
God.
least."
Wow.
Well, a year later, less than a year, it was June, and the following April, I had done a booking of a couple I won't name the acts, but they were big. It was a
Right.
huge bike rally in Central Texas.
Oh my gosh.
And we were in front of 9,500 people making $5,000. And that was nice. And
Dude.
we've always offered our show at a slight discount, out of costume, to just play as ourselves and be, as the
Okay.
industry term calls it, like a reverence band. And what I mean by that is they'll sound just like the artist, but they don't try to look like the artist.
Wow.
Like the Australian Pink Floyd show is one of those, and
Okay.
what I call a reverence band. and they're exquisite,
That's
by the way.
interesting, man.
Another great tribute out of Russia and Ukraine is Leonid and Friends, and they do a tribute to like the old Chicago with the horns and everything, and they are unbelievable. They are just
Really?
absolutely just world-class exquisite.
So you're saying you guys will do the show not in costume? Do you still call it Let's Zeppelin?
Yeah, because it's the music of Zeppelin, but
Okay.
we've always offered the show out of costume. Nobody has ever taken us
They
up
want
on
the
that.
real deal.
They would rather spend the money and get the full shebang. And really, technically, we are, so to speak, actors in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're more than musical performers or musicians, but we become actors by default because we go into costume and into
Okay.
character and represent, the actors they once were.
Right.
Led Zeppelin as they once were. We've had people over the years from wherever we played, if it was South Padre Island or Rushville, Illinois, or anywhere we've ever played between, be it a fair, festival, bike rally, or bike rally is always good market for us. We've had people who would come up and say, I saw the real Led Zeppelin in Dallas, or I saw the real Zeppelin in Oklahoma City in '77, and you guys made me feel young again, and that's an incredible compliment.
No kidding.
But we can't let stuff like that go to our heads because we're not the real Led Zeppelin. We're
Right.
just trying.
But you guys are now, I mean, with this project, you guys are open to more than just your standard club or your standard bar. You guys are now doing like festivals, like you said, bike rallies and casinos and all this neat stuff. So, it's got to be exciting to know that you're not just getting up on a Saturday and you say, oh shit, I have to play the blah 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 bar. You're actually get to go travel, a little distance and get to play these bike rallies, and there's always way many people, and then of course you get, like she said, you get paid a lot more money. So that's got to be way more exciting than just your standard, bar band.
It is very exciting, and people have asked us, well, do you guys get nervous in front of a big crowd? No. The bigger the crowd, the more energized we
Right,
become.
I agree with
absolutely.
that.
And the
More
better you
motivated.
play.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah,
like
it pulls the best out of you. We did the Palladium Ballroom at Gillies for this event, and they brought us in and an AC/DC tribute out of Nashville called Hell's Bells. And we did it, and probably 3,000 or 4,000 people in that, and the energy that just came back up from that audience was just enough to put you over the top, and it's a beautiful thing.
So when you put that costume on, do you kind of feel yourself sort of transforming? It's got to be different.
Yeah, I concentrate on it, and we don't. I mean, unlike the real John Bonham, anymore I don't drink when I play, just because I have to stay sharp. I have to keep my edge, and if I don't, then I'm sacrificing, my efforts, and I'm not doing the audience any favors. So, John notoriously drank when he played, but he drank a lot, and he drank to cope from being away from his family. And so for me, my wife and I, we don't have any children, and she's not a concert goer, by the way.
Really?
It's the loudness. She
Sure.
doesn't even listen to music loud. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think given that my hearing is, it's perfect until you get to 5 kilohertz to 8 kilohertz. It's a huge dip. Whoop,
Is that right?
I wear hearing aids.
Do
and
you
it's
really?
cymbals and, playing music. Take care of your hearing, whatever you do.
No kidding.
Because once it goes, my audiologist explained, and I know I'm going off on a tangent,
That's
I
okay.
don't mean to, but the cilia in your ear that pick up sound waves and process them, it's kind of like blades of grass on a lawn. So if you walk a path to your car enough, you're going to wear it down to dirt, right? That's pretty much the exact same concept of what
Yeah.
happens. And that's, they don't grow, those cells die, so
Right.
they don't grow back.
What's your take on in-ear monitors? Do you like them?
I love them. Yeah, I've used them for a number of years, even on bass gigs, because they also serve as hearing protection. They're isolating. You get the kind that fit inside your ear, and a good mix on them is
Right.
like the perfect headphone mix. And then the stage volume doesn't have to be as high. You can protect everybody else's hearing too. You can, give the guy out front running sound a little bit to work with, a little bit of breathing room.
Right.
But they're very good if they're done right.
Sure.
I know some people, they want to hear their cabinet.
Yeah.
Or they want to hear wedges, but what I like about in-ears is that, wedges are big and bulky, and you have to have power amps, and you have to have extra cabling, whereas in-ears, they roll up in a little case, and you put
Yep.
them in your pocket. And
Pretty convenient.
yeah, very convenient. I'm a big fan of in-ears.
I am trying to warm up to them. I mean, I've worn them for 5-6 years now. Have you seen the remake of Stars Born? I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Oh, no, I haven't
So-
got that one yet.
There's a scene in there where the main male character he's very resistant to in-ear monitors, and every time that scene comes on, I'm like, yeah, you tell him, because for me, I'm just old school.
Right.
I like the ambience, the
Right.
big feel of the room. It just adds to the power.
Right.
And now my drummer Jeff did turn me on to some in-ears that actually let some of that ambient sound in, and I finally broke down and bought a pair. And I'm letting our new drummer that's coming on board actually use them right now. But God, I can't wait to get them back because they really do make a difference. I love
Yeah.
ambience. I just have to
Well,
have it.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
And that's one of the beautiful things about, and this actually goes we can talk about it broadly, in the world of art, be it whatever medium, if it's music you're playing or you're painting with oils or, profanity like in A Christmas Story, he was talking about his dad, there's really no such thing as a wrong answer in
Right.
creative art. But then there's also performance art and interpretative art, and that's
Right.
where tribute bands kind of fall in.
Okay.
So, we've been told, oh gosh, people are like, well, why don't you write your own music? Actually, we've all been involved in original projects before. We've all done. I can't sit down and write a song on my own, but I can co-write, and I have.
Yeah.
And so, but no, this is something we do because we love to do it. And
Right.
people, as long as people are coming to see us and still hiring us, then we'll keep on.
Absolutely. I'm going to get into some of this questions in the chat room. We have actually a few questions in here. Phil Johnson says, hey, Mark.
Hey, Phil.
Tracy Moore Wright says, Scott Wright does an amazing job on guitar as Jimmy Page.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget his amazing guitar tech.
I'm getting text from Doug Weber. He's saying he can't get on, but then I see 37 people watching. So
Right.
hopefully the playback on this is going to be better, and we can do some little magic editing to make it look not so messy.
Oh, fun.
So anyway,
Okay,
I hope we're on.
So we're going to continue on. Elizabeth English Talcott says, Doug Burgess is always preaching to me. Wear earplugs to concerts, he says. I don't want to. Don't forget their show this Saturday, October 3rd at the IDL.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are part of the Save Tulsa Music Scene concert series.
Yeah.
And that is a really big deal, and I hope and trust that people are going and supporting those shows. How did you guys get contacted to do that?
Well, excuse me, a very good friend and drummer I've played with for years by the name of Trent Creekmore. And then also I've known Tom Green for many years. As a matter of fact, he had a band, he and his wife Angie had a band that I did a booking for them down in Texas, by the way.
Wow.
And so I've known both of them for years. And Trent approached me at first and said, hey, here's the idea. And I said, no, that's great. That's great. I didn't expect him to say, well, he was like, what do you think? And I said, I think that's a fine idea.
Sure.
That these, musicians have been affected by the pandemic and about, the whole economy's been affected. So
Yeah, no doubt.
a lot of people, they need money, they need income, musicians. And so when Tom contacted me, well, Trent contacted me first and then Tom did, and we talked on the phone. I said, sure, yeah, absolutely. By all means, we'll do it. Just let
Yeah.
us know when.
That's cool.
So we're 100% on board.
So it'll be the full show, like
Yes.
you guys. Full
Yeah,
costume.
it'll be the full show,
Nice.
and we play about a 2-hour show. We don't take set breaks. We're not really set for
Wow.
like the standard club.
Ooh, 2 hours with no breaks. How tough
2
is
hours
that?
with no breaks. Well, actually, for this show, we've decided to throw in a couple of acoustic. What Zeppelin did, like "That's the
Really?
Way" and "Going to California" and stuff like that. Probably going to be sometime near or after the drum solo, because after the drum solo, it's like, okay,
A little worn out. Yeah.
yeah, that gives me a chance to rest a couple songs. I
Sure.
think, just catch my breath again.
Sure, that makes sense.
We were asked to ask about the new songs that are added to the show.
Okay, yeah. I mentioned that that's the way. I'm sorry, and Going to California, and we'd done this before, but hey, what can I do? Is coming back, and I think in the history of This is the longest running band I've ever been involved
Really?
in by a long shot. Yeah, I mean, since 2004, really, 16 years now we've been at it.
That's a while.
And we've worked up probably a little over half of everything Zeppelin ever put on an album.
Goodness.
As more recent songs we've worked up in the last couple years include the wonderfully challenging Achilles' Last Stand, which I got to give the credit to the guys because they nail it,
Wow.
and I'm very happy about that. In My Time of Dying is another anthem, 11-minute long, and it's a challenge to stay on top, but everybody's very focused.
So is that one of the most challenging songs to do? Because there's a lot of challenging Led Zeppelin stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's something that keeps us on our toes. In my mind, I've never done the perfect performance, and I never will. I'd have to have John Bonham's DNA and his soul and his life experiences, and be in that. I'd have to have been he to do that. But the art of trying my best to come as close as I can to doing it justice, it's humbling. It's a challenge, and that's the passion part.
So,
Awesome.
Here's kind of a weird question. If someone approached you to do another tribute band, what artist would you like to cover?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one, actually. There was some talk, a guy I know, actually he used to play auxiliary guitar with us, and he kind of looks enough like Eric Clapton to make it work. And the idea was kind of tossed around, and I would have done that because, I knew one of Eric's drummers. My parents
Really?
knew Jamie, who played with Eric Clapton from 461 Ocean Boulevard all the way to Behind the Sun. So when I was a kid, I knew Jamie, and that would have been really cool. Back when I played bass, it was suggested to me, well, why don't you put together a Primus tribute? And I was like, well,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but there's still the real Primus, so why does there need to be a tribute to
Right.
Primus,
Would that be very marketable, do you think?
I doubt it. I mean, well, not in the same sense that a Zeppelin tribute would.
Sure.
And some of the tributes, we get billed with other tributes too. Like I mentioned the AC/DC one. We played a thing down in McAllen, Texas, way far south Texas. It was an extreme sports event, and there was a Kiss tribute called Destroyer out of Dallas.
Wow.
There was a Rolling Stones tribute called Satisfaction. They were excellent too. A Van Halen tribute called Eruption out of Los Angeles, and they were fantastic too.
Wow.
There was us, and then there was a Pink Floyd tribute out of Dallas, I think. Or we've played more recent years with a Doors tribute out of Kansas City called
wow.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
Yeah.
And they're excellent too.
Yeah, there's like AC/DC tributes. There's, some of the coolest bands, that we've all were raised and grew up listening to. These people. Some of these bands, like the AC/DC guys.
Oh yeah.
They gotta get up there and perform like Angus Young.
Yeah.
Not
tough.
everyone can do that.
That's true.
And we're talking chiropractic.
I'm telling you, I watch those old videos of him, and it just hurts me to watch because
Yeah.
I know what it's like. Like just the next morning after just one of our cover band shows, it's like I'm just dying, and I barely did anything. I just cannot imagine moving like that guy.
Oh yeah, incredible performers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
those who impersonate them. My hat goes off to
No
them because
kidding.
they really pour their heart and soul into that.
Sure.
And even say solo artist tributes. I know a lot of them too. I booked them, and they just put everything they have into that impersonation, that being that performer, that actor,
Right.
so to speak. Fortunately, John really didn't sing backups. And so I don't have to do. Well, I still do a little bit because we
Yeah.
might have to cover stuff.
Right.
We use an offstage guitar player and an offstage keyboard player. And we always give them the option. If they want to play on stage, they can play on stage. But they'd rather play off stage, that's fine too. But we're all live. We use no tracks ever. We've never used any tracks. We're 100% live, and because it stays organic that way.
Right.
And but we use the auxiliary performers to cover like rhythm parts, and so that we can maintain fidelity to the album cuts that we
Sure.
do. We do a few live versions too
Okay.
that are fun.
So Tom McPherson says, have you ever totaled up the hours you have spent studying bottom and perfecting your technique?
Tom, I have to answer that. No, I don't know that I could imagine. I don't know that to me would be like figuring, okay, how many martinis have I enjoyed in my entire life?
Right.
That's a stellar number.
Can't calculate.
No, I mean that's actually a really good question that I don't think I could really ever answer that with any. I could maybe estimate, but I'd have to really think about that.
How often do you guys typically like to try to play a month? Once a month? Twice a month?
Really less frequently than that.
Okay.
Even. We play if it's local. We'll do local 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year.
Oh, wow.
And we get hired to go play someplace else. Matter of fact, suffice to say that on average we play more out of town than we've ever played
Sure,
in town.
that makes
But we
sense.
like to play in town too.
What are some of your favorite out-of-town locations to go to?
Oh gosh, well we had a lot of fun in Rushville, Illinois, bike rally up there, and this lady was really hammered. And this is we were just loading stuff on the stage, and she wanted to get a picture with our lead singer. And okay, all right, and we weren't even in costume
Right.
yet. And then I hear her going, "Oh my gosh, I just had my picture taken with Robert Palmer from Leonard Skinner," and I'm like,
And you're like, yes, you did.
"Oh, we've
what
had."
do you say? Oh, my Lord.
We've had some really really fun times. I'd say Texas is always fun.
Texas.
Yeah, we've always had a great time playing in Texas wherever we played. We had Somerville or McAllen, South Padre, Dallas, Tyler. We've done those places. Tyler was interesting. I remember we played Tyler once in '06, I think it was. And it was outdoors, 35 degrees. So the other guys are kind of layered up,
Holy crap.
But I'm out in a denim shirt similar to this one, no T-shirt underneath, just denim and jeans and a wig. And after the first song, 35 felt like 70 to me.
Oh,
Wow.
it did?
Oh, it felt great. I was like, yeah, this is like a night at the ballpark. It
Ooh,
was,
man.
it was awesome.
See, I'm trying to think of my fingers in
Yeah.
35 degrees. I don't think I could pull that off.
It was real. The other guys were really cold, and but I get, I heat up.
Sure. Well, you have the hardest job physically in the whole band for sure.
So who are some of the big acts that you've worked with when you were a booking agent?
Oh gosh, that was a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. I'm glad they said acts because they weren't always musicians. I would say I remember booking Julio Iglesias, and he was really cool.
Really?
He was
Wow.
he was really neat. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I remember putting 50 Cent in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh my gosh.
And he'd never played there before, and that was a 20,000 seat venue. I worked with some European promoters on that. Put Shaggy, the reggae artist, in Cairo, Egypt.
Jeez Louise.
But those are the ones that I can remember. I remember also working with the Tater, Ron White. I went to Portland to do a birthday party.
Really?
And Ron White sat in Portland, Oregon. We had lunch, and we ordered barbecued spare ribs in Portland, Oregon. It's like not really our idea what barbecue ought to be, but no, he's a very nice guy.
Right.
That was real Scotch.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, he was really nice.
You can just tell by his voice. He's lived some miles.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some miles on that thing.
I remember putting Quiet Riot and Jefferson Starship together on a bill.
Really?
Yeah, this was interesting. It was the South Dakota State Fair, and they had never booked either act, right? Well, the date was August 1st, which was Jerry Garcia's birthday,
Oh,
right?
wow,
So to
yeah.
commemorate that, we knew we'd have every, formerly psychedelic music fan out there to see Jefferson Starship. But then Quiet Riot, we'd have, because they had Randy Rhoads especially, we'd have every person who ever loved metal from Montana to Minnesota was going to be at that. And as I understand, it was a great turnout. I didn't get to go on that trip,
Right,
but I
right.
booked it. And that was back when Kevin DuBrow and, of course, Frankie Banali,
Sure.
also rest in peace.
No doubt.
Right.
So that was a time ago.
That's interesting. Wow, man. So you've done some really cool stuff.
I've been lucky.
So and listen, thank you for being so patient with all this. We've made
No
it.
problem.
We've made it a good long way, and not had too many issues. And then, damn, we just shouldn't have played that video. I just
Yeah.
hate that. But you
I think
know,
there might have been a couple issues. I think the internet
yeah,
connection is
yeah,
kinda
we've had some drops.
some drops with
So-
this, probably because it's stormy.
Maybe so, but you've been very patient. Let us give you an opportunity to give some final words to the people
Yeah,
watching.
you've held.
Yeah,
many,
you've held a
many-
good crowd,
Yeah, you
man.
have.
Oh wow, well,
Yeah, you
that's
have.
great.
You
Yeah.
got to have Mark do his sling blade impersonation.
Oh yeah, you got to leave us on that note for sure.
Okay, I'm surprised they didn't ask me to do Roy Mercer or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Do whatever you want.
No,
the
let-
mic is yours, man.
I reckon you got something good to eat in there. Wow. Y'all got mustards and biscuits for sale in there. You're just a boy, ought not taught that away.
Got the French fried potatoes.
Don't
fried
even try.
taters.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. That was fantastic.
I don't know that I can do that too well.
Just take it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God! Why didn't we get into this long ago?
Well, that was actually I learned how to do that from a friend of mine. It was a stand-up comedian named Marc Britton, and he heard me do it. And he's like, "Yeah, that's it. Here's a tip,
Really?
because he's great at it." And a lot of people do Arnold, so I don't do that one as often.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fun. I love to try to be a
Yeah.
voice impersonator myself because I've gotten to know a few who do it.
You're pretty darn good at
Oh,
it.
well,
Now, all of a sudden, now I want biscuits and mustard. So thanks a lot, man.
Y'all got biscuits for sale in there?
And the combination is just weird, right? I mean, biscuits and mustard, they
but
just
he
don't.
was a strange man. We all can agree with that.
Well,
right?
the strangeness, Christopher Walken is a strange man.
Right?
Look,
Give me cowbell.
every day, cowbell, you got to have it.
Bruce-
Even Led Zeppelin
Bruce
had
Dickinson.
cowbell.
Bruce Dickinson.
Right.
I love it.
I'm Bruce Dickinson.
You are.
I put my pants on one leg at a time. The only difference is once my pants are on, I make gold records. Right.
Awesome.
Man, fantastic
Well, it was a
stuff.
pleasure having you. And
Thank
It
you.
was.
Thank you for having
know,
me. Yeah.
Thank you
guys,
for your patience.
go out
Oh,
there,
it's all good.
support Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
they
come
get
on
out there,
out.
they rock, they dress up, they have fun.
Yes.
I mean, if you like the old school Jimmy Page with the Les Paul
yeah.
and
The double neck.
him doing the Moby Dick drum solo, make sure you go check him out. The IDL
I should.
Saturday, October 3rd.
Right here.
It is the
It's
IDL. It's
IDL.
Tom Green and everybody.
Yeah.
Save Tulsa Music. So here's the flyer right here. So you guys are up.
October 3rd.
3rd. Let's Zeppelin a tribute. Make sure you get out and support these guys.
Yep. Friday, October 16th, got an Infinity, our boys.
We'll go back to that in
Sure,
a little
sure.
bit and run down the whole roster. But seriously, thank you for everything.
Thank
you for
you.
your patience. We'll piece this all together afterwards.
Fantastic. And when
But
you guys have a show coming up too, right?
gosh,
pretty
we
soon?
do.
Yeah, rocket science.
We
No,
do.
you guys are awesome. I'm
Oh,
going to tell
man.
you that. No, really, I'm serious. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've watched you play in other bands too. And yeah, go see Rocket Science.
Thanks,
You get a
man.
chance, get out there and see. I should also say IDL is 18 up.
It is.
Right.
It's
Yes.
18 and over. It's not
Yes,
21.
yes.
It's 18. so.
Daniel Donk, we are Rocket Science is playing, I think, next weekend.
Well, yeah, this one coming up, we're at Lenny's, and then we're going to talk about a cool show that we're doing at IDL here in a little bit. Anyway, I do want to do this one more time since we had some technical issues. Let's
Tracy.
show that. Yeah, Tracy
Yeah.
Wright.
She's a dear friend.
Thank you for bringing Marc in here for us and making this interview possible. Again, guys, if you have any real estate needs, the real estate market is super hot right now. Houses are selling like hotcakes. So if you need to buy or sell a house, check out Tracy Wright at Keller Williams. Her website and where you can reach her is realtor918.com. And let's go ahead and just run through the sponsors real quick.
Why not?
We'll have Marc sit here with us. This is what we're talking about right here, debconcerts.com. Coming up, wow, what a cool show. This is going to be a live intimate acoustic night with John Corabi, who's the former lead singer of Motley Crue and the guitarist for Rat. And we are opening for him that night. This will be Friday, October 23rd. Doors at 8, show at 9. Tickets just $15 at stubwire.com. And they are really doing these shows a very cool way. They're keeping all of the COVID concerns in mind. They're spreading out the tables. They're cleaning everything super faithfully. So it will be a safe show for you to come to. So check that out. We also want to thank our friends at Shipman Photography.
Yeah.
ShipmanPhotos.com,
Yeah.
GregShipman.com. he will take care. And he did those beautiful headshots for Tracy that you just saw. Commercial photographer, music video director. They do band promo, artist headshots, concept art, and video design, all kinds of stuff they will hook you up with. We also want to thank our friends at Identity Merch. Guys, they are doing some cool stuff for us. They've put up an online store on our Facebook page. You can go get a Tulsa Music Stream t-shirt, long sleeve or short, and a hoodie if you hit the Shop Now button on our Tulsa Music Stream page. We appreciate Identity Merch and their involvement with this show, and they're also helping with some upcoming interviews. And again, let's show this flyer one more time. Save Tulsa Music Scene presents. And we've got, I guess the Plumbers played last night. We've got Let's Zeppelin, a tribute coming up on Saturday, October 3rd. BC and the Big Rig, Infinity, Stonecutters in Reverse Reaction, Jamie and the Hoopla with Weston Horn Acoustic.
Cool.
And that is going to be a good deal. And they're actually continuing those shows into November. So we'll be talking about the November shows real soon. So we are going to get out of here. I'm concerned because we're going to play another video. And we'll see how this goes. Let's tell people about this a little bit. So like we told you guys, we got contacted after our Phil Lewis interview. We got contacted by Stevie Rochelle.
Rachel, isn't it?
Rachel?
Is it Rochelle or
I
Rachel?
have no
I mean, think
clue.
about glam rockers. They got to have the chick name, so it's probably Stevie Rachel.
Okay, let's go with that. From
Maybe it's Rochelle.
He used to sing for a band called Tough, and he contacted us after he saw the Phil Lewis interview, and they shared it. He's the CEO of Metal Sludge, which is a big online source for music news. So he contacted us about the interview, and we got excited. We were like, "Hey, man, you want to come on so we can interview you?" And he said, "Well, maybe not me right now, but do you want to talk to one of my artists?" So he told us about an artist he has called named Early Ray. That's the name of the band. And the guy that sings for Early Ray was good friends with Janie Lane from Warrant. And he has done a country version that's a spin on Cherry Pie, but it's called Apple Pie. And the cool thing about this video, I mean, there's some legit guys in this band, like the drummer from Hootie and the Blowfish is in this band, bass player from the Indigo Girls. So these guys are legit, and they've done this cool version of Cherry Pie, but they put their own spin on it. It's called Apple Pie. And Bobby Brown, y'all remember Bobby Brown?
Bobby Brown.
Janie Lane's former girlfriend, and she was in the Cherry Pie video. She's actually in this video, and let me tell you what, she has aged very well. She's looking pretty good. So we're going to attempt to play this video. Hopefully Facebook will be nice on this one. We'll see. We're going to get out of here. We again thank Mark Nelson. We thank Lita Ford. Thanks to all of our sponsors, our donors for helping us out.
Yeah.
How was it to be on a show with Lita Ford? I mean,
I'll
that's
tell you,
pretty cool.
I thought it was going to be an incredibly tough act to follow because, you know, she's Lita Ford, and I was listening to the stream on my way to the studio here.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, she's delightful. She really is. She got
She was great.
Incredible. Just really.
She was great. You know, I mean, you just never, with the national artists, like everybody local we've met has been super nice. National artists, you don't know them. You're hoping you're catching them on a good day. I think we caught her on a good day. It was a good talk.
Well, you know, and that's an interesting point you made about a good day, because one of the things that I learned early on as an agent when you're going out repping stuff is that, you know, anybody can be having a bad day.
It's true.
And, you know, somebody I've heard, oh, there's a really nice guy and he was a real jerk or whatever. Well, maybe he was just having a bad day.
It's possible. I mean, you got to just kind of give people grace because they go through a lot of pressure, you know, especially on a national level. But we are going to be back in a couple weeks, Sunday, October 18th for episode 22. And that one, we got another heavy hitter. John Humphrey, who's the drummer for Seether and used to play with the Nixons, is coming in.
That'll be fun.
And we also have Jamie Hooper of Jamie and the Hoopla coming in that night. So both of those guys are going to be in studio, believe it or not. So that is super cool. So we are going to get out of here. Enjoy this apple pie video.
Apple
I know,
pie.
and we'll be out of here. Thanks, buddy.
Well, hey,
Have a good
thank
night.
you.
bet.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you hanging there.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
buddy. Take
See
care.
you, everybody.
See you guys. Tulsa Music Stream loves you.
Have a good evening. We love you.
She's my apple pie, cool drink of water, sweet moonshine. Tastes so good, make a grown man cry. Sweet apple pie. Swinging on the front porch, swinging in the yard, swinging in the corn out behind the barn, swinging in the hay that's just been mowed, swinging all night till the cow come home. Swinging on the creek bank, swinging in the water, swinging skinny dipping with the farmer's daughter, swinging to the left, swinging to the right, swing it all day and swing it all night. I scream, you scream, I'll scream for her. Don't even try, 'cause you can't ignore her. She's my apple pie, cool drink of water, sweet moonshine. Tastes so good, make a grown man cry. Sweet apple pie. She's my apple pie, put a smile on your face, 10 miles wide. Looks so good, bring a tear to your eye. Sweet apple pie. Swinging to the banjo, swinging to the drums, swinging to the bass in the bed of my truck. I need money for a tank of gas. Nothing where we're going, but we're going real fast. I scream, you scream, I'll scream for her. Don't even try, 'cause you can't ignore her. She's my apple pie, cool drink of water, sweet moonshine. Tastes so good, make a grown man cry. Sweet apple pie. She's my apple pie, put a smile on your face, 10 miles wide. Looks so good, bring a tear to your eye. Sweet apple pie. Swinging by the bonfire back in the woods, swinging on the tractor up on the hood. Sun coming up, we don't care. Cowboys shining, we love to share. She's my apple pie, cool drink of water, sweet moonshine. Tastes so good, make a grown man cry. Sweet apple pie. Oh yeah. She's my apple pie, put a smile on your face, 10 miles wide. Looks so good, bring a tear to your eye. Sweet apple pie. Sweet apple pie. Yeah.
Hey, apple pie. Nice choice.